Welcome back to the final game of the day of the Dota 2 Asian Championship coverage brought to you by the Score Esports. I knew I was going to say it wrong.
The Sports Escore?
The Sports Escore.
Sounds good too.
It's pretty good. After a couple surprises, Hellraisers has been eliminated by Rave. Navi has been eliminated by HGT. It is a turn to see whether Cloud9 can actually beat eHome, or eHome is going to go through. Now, I know you're a Mushi fan, you're an eHome fan.
He's my friend.
He's your friend.
So you're a fan.
So you're a fan and a friend.
I'm a fan and a friend, okay.
Okay, good. Good enough.
You're a fan.
Yes. And he's your fan too, come on. It's like mutual respect. I'm your fan. You're my fan?
Huh? I follow his Twitter. Come on, Brian. Trying to... Yeah, I don't know.
But anyways, yeah, 3 teams have been eliminated so far. This is the final elimination match of the day. Whoever wins will have to face HGT tomorrow in a best of 3. But what have we seen about Cloud9 throughout these tournaments that you remember, Synderen?
Well, unfortunately, the clearest memory is yesterday, which is not a fond memory for Cloud9, unfortunately. They should have really won game 1, they lost. Second game, they did okay, considering how bad the first game went, or... the first game went really well, and then they just messed up. But considering how hard that loss should have been for them, they actually came out fairly strong in game 2. They still lost that. It was, of course, against Big God. Which makes me think today that they are the favorites, because actually they didn't seem too phased by the individual loss in the series, and I think today they're going to come out guns blazing. This is the all-in, the last hurrah of the tournament, whereas eHome weren't even in the winner's bracket. So they haven't had the luxury of getting those extra games. They honestly, I feel like during the group stage, they're probably the team that disappointed me the most, considering how high hopes I had for them after day 1. Their drafting in particular seems like their Achilles heel. I think their players are really, really good. I think, well, all of them, honestly, are extremely good players on their individual positions, but I guess Winter knows them a little bit better than I do. What do you think? Is it...
I've talked about this before on the panel. During the group stages, they have multiple drafters. I saw DDC drafting some of the games, maybe 1 or 2. Then there's Inflame drafting, then there's Mushi drafting. Something is going on. There's something going on when you have so many drafters in a group stage.
Yeah.
There has to be something that is wrong in the team, which I have no clue, but hopefully they have 2 days of rest.
Yeah.
They need to sort out and get things right. Like, it's the playoff, no more messing around. Get one drafter. Everyone stands behind him. Just trust him, whatever he picks, and just play. They can't afford to have multiple differences on the draft, and if things don't work, it's just... If you play and you lose, it's fine, but if you play and everyone has different opinion and you lose, that's always a very bad sign for the team.
Absolutely. And one last thing that I wanted to talk about. In the group stage, the 5 Western teams went top 8 and doing fairly well, very convincingly winning some against not only the teams that were in the bottom 8, but also taking games from Big God, from Vici Gaming, and from IG. We're looking at the playoffs right now, and outside of EG, the Western teams have not been doing so well. Navi got eliminated, Hellraisers got eliminated, both losing both the winner bracket and the losers bracket game. Cloud9, they still can advance, but they lost the winner bracket game, and Secret lost to Big God. Do you think
Vici
to Vici Gaming. Do you think there is a reason why this has changed? Is the East adapting, or just a bad day combined for all of the Western teams?
It's so hard to say with best of 1s, honestly. The best of 3s, I think, just in their respective matches, Hellraisers clear underdogs against Vici Gaming. I think relative... So this is the weird thing about this group stage is Vici Gaming finished 4th. But for me, they're still the favorite of the tournament. They just had a couple of off games, but that means Hellraisers get to play Vici Gaming, which is a really unfortunate draw for the winner bracket, let's be honest, right? So they get knocked down, and then they play best of 1 against Rave. Anything can happen, they lose. Rave plays better, they're better on the stage, they have a good draft, and they perform it well, so they do a great job, and they move on. Then you've got a Navi who play Evil Geniuses, which I also think is their EG are favorites in that. Maybe not as much as Vici versus Hellraisers, but still same story. You're not the favorites going in, you lose as expected, and then you play a best of 1 against HGT, who have got to see your games, and anything once again can happen, right? So I don't really want to call out a clear pattern on that. I also want to say Secret's loss to Vici Gaming wasn't like a stomp either.
Right.
I would call it a bad day more than anything, but it's.
I mean,
I feel like it's hard
for
to
Secret,
generalize.
it's difficult to go 17-0. Like, it's already a huge feat going 15-0. Like, you are going to lose at some point, and you still have a chance to rectify things and just make necessary
They went
adjustments.
17-0, by the way.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
they
It
could have
was
gone 19-0.
19-0. Sorry,
Yeah.
it wasn't going 19-0. It was already a tremendous feat itself. So, I think Secret will be able to bounce back. But it was just like what Sin said. They had a bad game, and opponent played better. Vichy managed to figure them out. Have certain bans that were directed at RTZ or directed at Zai. They couldn't bring the best lineups they had before, which they showed in the group stages, and they lost. So I expect them to come back with adjustments. So I think Secret will still be a very good shot at winning the whole thing.
Looking at the standings right now, Vichy Gaming and EG guaranteed top 3. One of them is going to be in the grand finals. The other one is going to play the loser bracket finals against one of the teams that comes from the lower bracket. Right now, as you look at it, Syndran, if you had to bet your life in it, which team of the lower bracket is going to get to the loser bracket finals?
Team Secret.
Winter?
Yeah, Team Secret.
Big God, second.
Okay.
If we want to follow through.
Yeah.
Big God second, best chance to get to the lower bracket final. Of course, the lower bracket final for me will probably be EG versus whoever. I think Vichy Gaming are currently one step ahead. I called them as the best team, the team that had the best chance of being Secret. EG, however, they have some interesting strategies, and that could be an interesting match, of course, but that's still 1 to 2 days down the line. I can't remember if it's tomorrow. It's the day after
It's the
tomorrow.
day after tomorrow, yes.
So they will have preparation time. I don't know who that favors, but as far as Secret and Big God, I would say regardless of who they face, I consider them both big favorites. Secret more so than Big God because I think they'll meet IG, and if IG do well, they could get on a roll.
Secret doesn't meet IG.
No, Big God.
Oh, Big God.
Big God, yeah. So if IG get on a roll and they play like this game against LGD, they could take Big God. I don't see any of the teams in the upper half beating Secret in a best of 3. That just seems very
Yeah,
unlikely.
I think I would agree to that. I think Secret is just one class above everyone there. If you talk about a team that's probably going to beat Team Secret in the losers brackets, I think the highest chance would be maybe IG or Big God at their best, at their totally best. Otherwise, I don't see anyone else beating them in the losers bracket.
Yeah, but not many of us counted that HGT could win versus Navi, and they were at their best combined with a bit of a lull from Navi, so anything can happen.
Yes.
Personally, I would love to see a rematch of Team Secret versus Vichy Gaming in the finals. After watching the games today of the winner bracket, I was amazed. And by the way, guys, if you haven't, you have to check out the VODs because game 1 of that series was amazing.
Incredible. Best
Yes.
game
Best game
this year
ever.
for sure.
Yes.
Maybe best game this year and last year combined, and arguably
As good as TI3 finals.
it's a hard call to make. But I would say it can contest the absolute best games of Dota 2 history.
I
so
would say if it was a finals game, we wouldn't be having this argument. We would be saying,
that's possible. That obviously
Probably.
also plays in.
yeah.
And well, it
Top
was still a very important game, which is
Yes.
great. It's still a special feeling when it's in the grand finals, especially if it's game 5. That's like
Of course.
there's so many nerves and so much on the line, but
Mm-hmm.
it was still an incredible game. Really enjoyed watching it.
Yeah. Going back to Cloud9 a little bit, Envy used to favor this illusion-based hero, the Naga Siren, the Terrorblade, split pushing. Now these heroes, not as strong as they used to be before. Still, with things not working very well for Cloud9, do you think it's time for Envy to go back to these heroes, or should they keep with the metagame?
I think you can pull out a Naga. Terrorblade for me seems like such
He's very
a
weak-
risky
Very
pick
weak
right
against
now.
all the spin lots. That's the problem I
Yeah.
have with the hero.
The spin lords.
The Spin Lords.
The spin lots will annihilate Terrorblade. But Naga, maybe you could still consider it because he has still some form of dodging the fights and having the song. Terrorblade seems very unlikely though.
Mm-hmm. Well, and for eHome, Mushi plays pretty much every hero there is right now.
Except for...
Techies.
Invoker.
No, I was gonna say micro heroes and Invoke.
And techies.
And techies. What hero? You are a friend for Mushi. How long have you met Mushi? Like 5 years plus?
Probably more than... If we started playing in Dota 1, it was a long time. Maybe 6-7 years.
Okay.
6-7.
So you know him for 6-7 years. What would you say is Mushi's strongest hero, regardless of the metagame?
OD. OD gives me the biggest impression because I have seen a lot of plays by his OD and he has like it fits him. It's a lane dominator, has a huge impact in the game.
Mhm.
That's how I perceive him as a player. He's the king of the lane, and he dominates with a hero like OD.
Mhm. Do you think we can see OD in this metagame? Do you think it makes sense against the Axis and
It's like this, you know. It's
Yes, we
might
can.
situationally.
They've already picked it.
Yeah,
They lost,
they lost.
but they picked it.
Hey.
And I'm totally with Winter, by the way. Mushi's absolutely biggest strength is his laning. That's why he's become famous for his OD, his Queen of Pain, and his TA. Those are my top 3 Mushi heroes, probably. And
Yeah, and one more
it's for
thing.
the same reason.
AG stealing.
That's true. He
Yes.
also, he doesn't really play that badass of a Storm, I would say.
Storm, yeah, Storm.
He
He-
apparently
That's not on par with the other 3 for me. For Mushi.
But
he's
he
still
still
good.
plays good on Storm and maybe on some carries like anti-mage. And
Occasionally,
maybe
yeah.
non-conventional carries like Ursa. Or
That's true
Or
as
the
well.
Sven.
he's very good at stealing ages that his teammates don't deny. Otherwise, it gets a little
Well,
bit too hard.
Honorable mention Shadow Fiend. That could also be in the top 3-4.
Yeah, Shadowfiend, we used to have this joke when we talk about when we were teammates because we had 2 Shadowfiend players in our
Mhm.
team, Yamate,
Yamate and him, yeah.
and Mushi. We were always like, whoever, they would draft Shadowfiend and we're like, we need to pause, play a 1v1 game to decide who plays, like just an inside joke. Because both of them, they really want to play the hero.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes we had to decide based on maybe Mushi can't play the other hero, so there's no way we can have him on the Shadowfiend. We need to have him, something like this. But both of them really like to play the hero, and they play it in a very different way. Mushi is really aggressive with the razors, and Yamate is more conservative. But he hits during the day when we were playing together. He hits razors much better than Mushi. Obviously, Mushi improved over time, and he became a very good Shadowfiend player as well. Like Yamate is more famous in Dota 1 days.
Yeah.
For the Shadowfiend.
The other Southeast Asian in this team is Ohio. Some called him the gentle giant.
The humble giant.
The humble giant.
That was mainly from gods because they were talking and he felt he was really humble and he didn't have to talk to gods like this. I had to talk to gods like this, so the humble giant.
Yes. He's very good at a lot of heroes. He
Hybrid type of player.
What?
Very hybrid type of player.
Yes.
Very
yes.
unique. He plays offlane most of everything actually.
Yeah, and he also played mid for a while when he was
Titan. That was
Yes,
when they
Titan.
they were having roster issues, they were swapping roles. Ice was in the team, he was a support player but he was playing offlane back then, and they had to move KY, XY or higher to the mid, and they would switch regarding around with the hero. So that time wasn't really good for him. I think he doesn't really shine as a solo mid player because he has a lot of unique ideas on the offlane, and that's where he actually shines as a player for me.
In fact, speaking of shining in the offlane, or at least being very consistent, I think Ohio has been one of the consistent players throughout eHome this tournament so far, and that completely contrasts with the offlaner of Cloud9. Bone7 hasn't had the greatest of tournaments. You give him the Bat Rider, he's going to destroy the opposition, create space for your team. Other heroes, not so
Clockwork.
much. Okay, so here's my question to you. You played competitively as well, both of you. Actually, the question goes for both of you. Sometimes you get things or like games where your heroes are not working. You rely on a hero. This is definitely not working for you. Do you get to a point where you just don't want to pick the hero anymore, even if it makes sense? Or do you find somehow the way to say, okay, I lost the last 5 times I played with Legion Commander, but have to play Legion Commander because it's the best I have for the draft?
If it is the best hero for the draft, then I would still pick it, even with multiple losses, because at the end of the day, you have to have confidence in your players, and if it's the best hero, it's the best hero. The question is that the best hero? I think, honestly, like I've said this maybe twice, maybe once on the stream so far, is that I think Bone7 receives a lot of flack, and I think he deserves some of it. But at the same time, they're also just really drafting him into a whole half of the games. It's like he gets an impossible lane. He plays a hero that needs to have a high impact but has no way of making it because his lane is undoable, can't really go to jungle. Legion Commander, the prime example, I think, of a hero that I feel like Cloud9 picks way too much relative to how much they get out of it.
Yeah, sometimes I feel where they actually pick the hero, but you can't use suppressor attack, and not very good with the duels. They don't have, like, there was instance one game they had Legion Commander, but they didn't have a Skyrath or Lion to make sure that he duels someone, you finish someone off right away. And there was no clear spell that the opponent had that you could actually take away with your press the attack. So it didn't really. I didn't really understand why they were actually picking Legion Command. There were so many heroes. If you are picking him just for the sole purpose of starting a fight, why would you actually do it on a hero that has a hard time in the lane and doesn't, like he said, doesn't jungle well, has no way of coming back into the game unless you have this brilliant start.
And there's one hero, honorable mention for me, that I don't think they've picked even once for Bone 7 this tournament. Nyx Assassin.
That is
No,
true.
they did.
They picked
They
picked
picked
it
once?
once. He
Yeah,
picked it
once.
Okay, one time.
But
yes.
he didn't play the game very well.
Particularly
Those for me are the 3 signature Bone 7 heroes.
Clock, Batrider, and
Clock, Batrider, and Nyx. And I think in most cases you can fit one of them in there. I understand if you feel like it really doesn't suit the draft that you get something else like a Legion. At this point, you just got to say for Cloud9, when have they... Like, I feel like their success stories with Legion Commander date back so far that... And this is what you were talking about.
Yeah.
If you keep losing, do you pick it? But the combination of the fact that they've lost a lot and that even in those games, I think Cloud9, when they've picked it, have had the realization that, okay, it actually wasn't that great.
right.
So I would like to see them think differently and get him one of his key heroes for a best of one elimination
I
match.
want
You
to
put
add a
Unop
hero
on, see.
to the list of Bone 7 heroes, and that's the Puck.
Yes, that's true too.
Hasn't he stopped playing the hero for quite some time?
He stopped playing, but he was the first. I want to say he was the first one that started doing offlane Puck.
He was
When
one
Puck
of them
used
for
to
sure.
be the only mid hero. He was going to the offlane. People were like, "Oh no, you can't because you need to get a Blink Dagger on Puck, and once you don't have the orb, you have to play very passively." Bone 7 was like, "I can do it," and he actually had a lot of success stories with the Puck. We've seen teams in this tournament playing the Puck offlane, not too many, granted, but it is still a thing. It's not something that can't be done. Maybe we'll see Bone 7 in that hero, which can create a lot of impact, especially with a lot of heroes that are very mobile right now. So very good at stopping the Lycan, very good at stopping any kind of hero like the Troll that wants to just follow you around.
Juggernaut.
Juggernaut,
Arguably,
well,
depending on the situation.
we've
But
seen an Axe Puck getting a Juggernaut.
Yeah, that's true.
So that might work as well.
The thing is, you have him on team with Fata, who is perhaps the best puck player in the
Yeah,
West,
I-
maybe even the world. He is extremely good at the
I think
hero.
he's like, for me, I've seen his puck so many times, even from the Miles days when you guys were a team. I think he was the best from, like, you could say he's the best even from that time. Like,
Mhm.
he was so good on the puck, like especially the way he uses his phase shift and orb
Yep.
Yeah.
and positioning, and he was like, I think one of the few players that actually consistently built Dagon on the hero all the time, where everyone else was going Blink and Hex, Blink
Yep.
into Hex.
Yeah,
Yep.
that is true. The game is starting right now. Some people were asking why we don't have footage of what's going on in the arena right now. There's no one in the arena. These games are being played at the hotel because the arena can only be open for a certain amount of time. So after the after the All-Stars match, everyone went to the hotel and the games are being... No, there was
They
the first...
played
The first
first lower
the
bracket.
first lower bracket, yeah. The first lower bracket game, then it moved to the hotel, so no live footage from the venue because no one is
It's
there.
already 1 a.m. in China.
Yeah, this is a really late game.
Yes. I
actually.
think probably the latest we've been so far in the tournament... No, we finished later before. But it's 9 a.m. here in the Pacific. We've been casting for...
We started at about 6.
6:30. Yeah.
So it's been a long day.
It's been
14 and a
about-
half hours so far.
Yeah, almost 15 hours. Hopefully we get to the round 16.
Bruno's hair is still in shape, by the way.
It's
After 15 hours.
And we're going to end in style.
Yes.
We've already got our first pick, so let's have a look.
Excellent. Let's take a look. This is the final game of the day. Cloud9 versus eHome. Juggernaut, first pick. Iisama, you have your hero.
And as expected, Bat Rider will be taken out, and it's going to be DDC doing the draft instead of Inflame or Mushi. So we'll see what he has him up in the plans for his team right now. They're going to open with an Axe and a Vengeful Spirit. Very standard opening for the current meta phase. Nothing too surprising.
Nope. Very reliable. Minus armor for Vengeful Spirit. Helps a lot. Axe, one of the top win rates of this tournament. This hero cannot stop winning.
Well, he can.
mhm.
It's
I-
just impossible. I really
No.
try to throw, but I
I-
keep spinning.
Can't. Yeah.
It's true. He's one of the heroes where you can click the fight, go FK, and maybe have an impact.
yes.
So.
Yes,
that.
indeed.
But you're right. What's his win rate now? I think he's still above 60%, I would guess, which is
He-
very high.
He's, I think, in the low 70s.
Wow,
but-
still over 70.
Yeah, but I don't have my pad here
No,
because I
that
left
can't
it
be.
charging right now.
That sounds imbalanced, Bruno. That can't be.
Well,
He probably
Sometimes
needs a mana cost or some sort of duration
Yeah.
on that spell.
we were talking about having counter helix being much worse at early levels and scaling, so that level 4 is the same right now. But if level 1, 2, 3 were weaker,
I think
Then he can't jungle.
I think a slight
Yeah,
adjustment,
shame.
like how they actually changed the Centaur when Centaur was really good. They increased the mana, like the level 1 mana cost would be the same as level 4. So it actually would provide a problem with a hero like Axe in the early game.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe something
So you
along
mean
the
Berserker's Call costing 110 on all levels?
Yeah, probably.
You could do that.
Yeah,
I think that's
Because
that's
he
decent.
does has mana issue if you play it like the way they play, one hunger and all your points in call, so you can't really use your spells that much.
that is true.
That's a good idea.
Lion is going to be the second pick for Cloud9, probably a misery hero.
I think he has the highest win rate of any support.
He is
Even better than Lamb on Lion.
No, I mean the hero.
He's talking
Oh,
about
the
Lion.
hero.
He's talking
Okay.
about Lion. Yeah. Also, the most picked and banned hero, so the most relevant hero in this metagame.
Yeah, like I talked about this before, he's the replacement for the Skyraf.
Yes.
They do almost the same duty. Skyraf has better laning phase, but Lion is just much more reliable now after all the nerfs on Skyraf and the Hex. Mid game, late game, it's always a good thing to have on your support.
Yeah, it's a little bit worse at zoning people out of the lane, but it compensates with a very amazing
Yeah.
Finger of Death and 2 disables, which few heroes have.
Another thing about Lion that I think isn't talked about enough is how important it is that he's actually fairly good. So, part of the reason that Skywrath got worse was that teams got better at playing with Force Staff. And you can easily save teammates from the Mystic Flare.
Yep.
That finger's going to hit. You do not force out of that. It's generally better in the game to have burst than damage over time for pretty much everything except against like TA or something
I
like
think
that.
the other reason was also because the position 3 hero changed. It moved from Faceless Void to Axe. And Faceless Void is obviously better with Skyraf in the olden times. They work better as a team. There's no way you force stuff out of the Chronosphere.
Yep,
Exactly.
And it's a since it's an axe now, you can force stuff out, so the Mystic Fair becomes unreliable. So you find a more reliable burst, which is the Lion, and he also got various small buffs throughout the patches.
That is, yeah, that
Very good
makes
point.
a lot of sense. eHome's gonna ban the Wisp and the Bristleback. Wisp and Chen, 2 bans targeted towards no tail, and I think it's very right. Banning Fada's Bristleback is important because he's had some very, very good games with this hero
Yeah,
in this
he
tournament.
understands when and where he can play in a fight and his limits. He's very good at the limits of the hero. He knows how much he can tank, how much he can deal, and he makes very good use of the passive ability of the hero, which is something that sometimes players actually mess up, and it's a ability where you can actually make the hero go a lot further than a lot of different position heroes on your team, you know.
Yeah.
You take that one more spell, you change the fight.
There's a couple of choices here for eHome that I want to point out. Okay, never mind. That's not going to be relevant anymore. I really liked when Inflame played Witch Doctor. I think he played an
Oh,
extremely
yeah.
good Witch
I
Doctor, and they had the X set up for it, but they go with AA instead.
I think I remember the game that I was watching. He had 35 minutes Axe Scepter, BKB, and Blink of 40 minutes. Like I was like, wow, this support is.
That was
huge.
when they won against IG in the group stage.
He had a huge Witch Doctor.
He was the MVP of that game by quite a stretch, which is, it's not that often these days, I would say, that we see a very clear single support MVP. Usually it's like the duo that roams together or work well
They-
together, but he was just out of his mind. on
They
the Witch
really
Doctor.
like the Zeus on Cloud9.
Yeah.
They really do like the spell damage, the burst. And I have to say about how C9 uses the Zeus, I think they use the Zeus way better than another team in one way, which is always to use the ultimate when they're suspicious of something
To
happening.
scout.
Yeah, you see this it's very rare on the other teams when they pick Zeus, they actually use it at a good time that they know that they can gain something, which is like to at least detect a smoke or gain some form of map control. Cloud9 are the team that uses this the best, I have to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, and they also do a lot of D-warding with the Zeus as well. They have it very well trained so that...
Yeah, and I think Feta is the only player that plays Zeus. At level 3, he gets 2 points in Arc Lightning,
Yes.
whereas everyone goes for the standard 1-1-1. He has 2 Arc Lightning and 1 Static Field.
Why do you think that is?
Initially, I thought he did it because he was laning against a Naga. Initially, I thought maybe because he wanted to clear the illusions, but
Right.
as I watched the games that he played, he actually does it every time, regardless of the laning partner. So he probably thinks it's better. The scaling, which Because if you think about how Zeus plays the lane, he's not going to use the bolt at level 3. He's going to be outlining for the first few waves. So it makes sense to have a higher point in outlining so that you can actually do more damage and get better last hit.
Does it do more damage, though, is the question, right? Because
It's 15 more damage.
so static field is 5% of target's health. So on creeps, that's 25, right? They have 500,
Mhm.
which would be 25 plus arc lightning's 85, which would be a
The-
total of
the
110.
bounce, I guess.
The extra jumps, I was thinking about that as the reasoning, but the first mini creep waves have 4 creeps, and it jumps 5 times.
Yep.
So it will hit every creep once and the hero, and that
And the
means
hero.
the last jumps are pointless. So
Wait.
it's a very peculiar build. It's obviously better when enemy heroes are low, because that's when static field turns out. That becomes
Yeah.
really useless. So for sniping off kills, if you bring them low first, I think the arc lightning build is better. But it's I can't find a very obvious
I
reason
don't-
for this.
There might be another reason. Is probably with level 2 of our lightning, you can consistently get 2 creeps per creep
Maybe,
wave
yeah, it's
That's
easier to
possible.
last
without
hit.
just
Yeah.
without putting them in a point where the opponent can't deny them.
Because he was the only player that actually does it.
Wait a second. The first range creeps have 300 health, right? Or do they
Yes.
have less?
No, initially it's less, like 290 or 280.
290.
They don't have 300.
So that means with 3 arc lightnings, he can kill the range creep.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That could be the reason, which is pretty relevant because Zeus will often be spamming it out like that, and that means reliably with 3 arc lightnings he will get the range creep, another creep in the lane, and maybe another one,
Yeah.
and then he can go get the range.
If that was his thought process, it was a really good reasoning to actually
Yeah.
do that skill boot. But
Okay.
here we go. You're gonna see
you
the
get your
clockwork.
wish.
The
Clone
clockwork.
7 clockwork is going to be there. Another good thing about Zeus, and I don't know if I'm assuming they know, eHome knows. When you get static field and you use, for example, arc lightning or lightning bolt, you get 2 different sources of damage.
For the refraction.
That works very well
Yeah.
against refraction because every single one of these attacks is going to burn 2 charges.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
But they picked TA into Zeus.
Exactly,
so
that's
they
what
did
I'm
it
saying,
willingly.
yeah.
I mean, it's a lane. Like the reason I feel why they are actually doing this is because Zeus is gonna be spamming all the time. You want a hero like either you with big base damage or something like refraction, so you can actually deny the creeps and you
Yeah.
stop the Zeus from getting you as much last hit as possible. And at the same time, a hero like TA free farming against a Zeus, obviously you will feel more comfortable because TA is a damage hero later on.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Zeus is just a spell caster.
Past 20-25 minutes, once the TA starts rolling, the Zeus by itself is not going to be able to do much against her. And in
Yeah.
1v1, TA is going to win every single time.
That is a weird ban.
The
I
Lich ban?
really don't know the Void. I
Yeah.
think that would be... So it would have worked well with AA, but the rest of their lineup really doesn't have synergy. X can't plug into the Chrono. Sure, he can maybe set up. He can call, and then you can Chrono, and then you've got a red man stuck in there. And then, alternatively, TA, same story, short range.
Yeah.
Then you've got TA and X stuck in your Chrono. That's horrible.
I
but
believe the AA is mostly to try to stop a potential Cloud9 pushing lineup. Like the Ice Blast is a very good...
Oh, yeah, I think the AA pick is fine. It's more the Void ban that
Yeah.
I don't think eHome would have
Yeah,
wanted.
yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I think that was the only thought process of eHome. It's not we're going to build a lineup against healing or wombo combo kind of
Yeah.
thing. And I think Cloud9 was a little bit too scared of, what could happen if they could build something around the AA Blast.
They also pick Slark into Zeus. They're really... They kind of counter each other.
Wait, if I'm not mistaken, you can actually bolt the slug in his ulti form.
Yes.
Yes.
You can.
So
You can do damage, but you can't
Yeah.
reveal it.
yeah, you can do damage. Yeah, the thing is like you still, if he's low, you still kill him. If
Yeah.
he pops
You know
out.
where he is.
Oh wow!
So-
Wait a minute.
Support Zeus and middle.
It is support Zeus, yeah.
Venomancer.
This is going to be a support Zeus.
They have a lot of AoE spell damage. That I have to
Yes.
say for C9.
And now suddenly the lane situation changes a lot for the Templar Assassin.
Yeah. indeed.
Because now suddenly instead of facing a Zeus, you're gonna face a Venomancer.
I have one issue with that. eHome have 3 cores that are obviously they're gonna be much stronger in the late game, mid-late game situation.
Yeah.
But Cloud9 they have all this spell damage, but how are they gonna finish the game before eHome just the 3 cores of eHome take over the whole game? It's
still
not easy.
Even come super late game, if eHome either don't have BKBs or have low duration BKBs, Venomancer ult, you stall out the fight, hit a couple of rockets,
Yeah.
Zeus ult finishes them off in the end, and you even have Omni Slash. I think Cloud9's lineup can actually, even though it's a lineup with only 1 physical carry, I think you shouldn't underestimate how well this lineup does beyond 40 minutes.
Yeah, when the BKB and the BKB goes
It's
down.
I still favor eHome late game though, but this is not a clear-cut, just late game loss for Cloud9.
Yeah, and Venomancer is a great counter to Slark's natural region as well. So once you have that Poison Nova, Slark is not going to be able to get in and out of the fight so easily, just counting on that region by itself.
Yep.
We'll see what the casters have to say for this game. It's the last lower bracket game of the day. Whoever loses is out. Whoever wins will have to play Hyper Glory team, which defeated Navi just before now. Lumi and Gods are our casters right now. Guys, good luck and take us away to this game.
Well, thank you, Bruno. He's upped his game.
We actually got 40 seconds. No first blood yet.
What are we going to do with those 40 seconds?
I don't know. I mean, talk about how Cloud9 has no late game, or how they're not going to make it through, or your call is as good as mine.
Veno, I would say a deceptively good late game here, especially some of the times I've seen Fata play. I mean, get that Ags, Blink, whatever it may be in the late game. And when you get to the late game, BKBs get down to 5 seconds long, your ultimate wrecks face.
Sure. Ohio trying to challenge the top rune. I don't think he'll be able to get that one. Yeah, I think Veno, you talked about the late game. I think the mid game strength of Veno is you could kind of shrug off his ultimate until it's kind of like, oh wait, we're all dying to this thing. And having the Zeus ultimate on top of that is, you know, kind of the extra thing. With Zeus, one of the things that we see Envy do a lot is just abandon the lane once he gets like maybe level 5 or level 6 and start jungling, and allowing the Zeus to get level 6, because level 6 on this hero is very crucial in terms of for the strategy, because like Winter and Cinderin pointed out, they use his ultimate to scout a ton. Bone7 up to his standard tricks, kind of cogging some creeps into trees. That's generally the tips that you do to get the creep equilibrium back to your favor.
All right, well, we'll see how things pan out here. It's going to be interesting laning setup here. You got Ohio as the kind of solo offline Axe. Generally, you've seen Axe get at least a bit of support, either a dual lane or a 1v1 matchup. Ohio kind of, more often than not, plays like a true hard laner, though. He's not going to get any support, it looks like, up top for the time being.
Yeah. Much like how Bone7 really doesn't get support.
Yeah.
So I think the two supports really mirror each other, and the two offlane mirror each other as well. The big difference to me is how this mid lane matchup is going to work out. Obviously, I think Mushi's going to have a tough time once this Veno hits level 3, because that's when the second point of Poison Sting will allow him to pierce all the refraction charges, right?
Do you go second point Poison Sting as opposed to the Plague Wards, or...?
I think for this lane you want to, right? Well, we'll see in just a bit, because they'll level up to 3 right now.
It definitely helps, like, the laning stage single target harass.
Oh, we've been singing your praises, Bone7. You can south and maybe walk away, but he tangles up. Oh.
Boots. Oh. Who's been singing his praises? I don't think many people have been singing his praises this
nobody's
tournament.
been singing his praises.
Yeah.
I misspoke.
I'm like...
About 0 people have been singing his praises. So he's actually gone for the Plague Wards, which essentially
more
does the same
build.
thing. But the earlier levels of Plague Ward just allow TH to get free gold.
Yeah, you're not going to be using this spell until level 2, maybe even level 3, but end of the day, you have to get the spell up to level 3 eventually. So the earlier you get the points, the faster you get there. So it's a trade-off. You maybe don't have as dominating of a laning stage like in the next 1 to 2 minutes, but once you get more points in the Plague Wards, it pays off.
Yep.
The other thing that Fata does really well in this hero is once he gets like level 3 Plague Wards, he'll get the Plague Ward wall and he will auto-deny and get like every single last hit. He actually micros the Plague Wards to perfection.
Yeah, and the cool thing about having a Veno mid is that shortly, maybe levels 5, 6, or 7, he could just leave the lane. And that just frees up yet another lane for whether you want your Zeus to get the level 6, whether you want your Lion to get the level 6, or honestly, having your Clockwork to catch up, because judging on how the lane's going bottom, he needs to catch up.
All right, well, we'll see what the eHome move's going to be if they try and gank this Venomancer at any point in this game. Venji is sitting behind, but no smoke in hand and no real easy way to kind of catch Fata by surprise, especially with it being daytime for the time being. So for now, your Axe has rotated into the jungle. There's Ohio looking to get some farm as well as levels there, leaving the entire safe lane for Envy to free farm. And that's where he may look for a fast tier 1 tower if they can try and get an early push going here. But at the same time, supports, they want to make sure they're getting the most out of the jungle. They want levels, they want farm. Misery loves to get his fast Blink Dagger up. No-Tell on Zeus, you kind of mentioned the importance of the level 6 to their strategy. So we're going to see C9 just play a more kind of greedy style here, given the space they're getting.
Just a small cute thing that I want to mention. It's already passed and it's not very important, but level 1, Juggernaut went for the healing ward, and he basically just stuck it on Misery, and Misery was able to use his buffed attack damage on line, just trade hits with the Axe. And Axe actually had to run away from a line, so that's kind of a cute way to do something that I don't see any actually Juggernaut get healing wards at one.
Top rune here. Trap's been late. Misery's there waiting.
Are they actually gonna get a kill though? They got Gale. That's a long, slow one, and they got Plague Ward to block low. Look at how much damage they're doing.
That's a
Nice
definite
block.
kill.
Well, Venomancer's gonna get the kill here.
Mushi didn't. I mean, Mushi couldn't have saved in there. At best, he could have maybe gone for a deny. But we will see the at least push attempt now coming at top lane from C9. They have Misery once again wrapped around. Aggressive play, looking for a high hood. He may be able to catch him out, but
No.
nope. Decides against. Level 1 Blade Fury, even with the phase boots here, not exactly an easy kill to be getting.
Bone 7's blocked by the Plague Wards. He can't get through. Okay.
Well, it worked to help secure the kill as well as mess up Bone 7 here.
Yeah. Fata, generally when he plays mid-Veno, he goes for the Hanamitis almost all the time.
Yes.
You just want to hit that level 16 as soon as possible. And obviously, getting your quick Aghanims is kind of what you want. But you don't want to skip things like Mech, Force Staff if you feel is necessary. So we'll see exactly what foray of item he'll go for. But I imagine Midas first is always the case. Mushi eats a Gale in the mid lane here. Probably won't die, but this is where Veno could start bullying the TA a little bit on the mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, so far the CS pretty much dead even between these two mid laners. A few extra denies on the Venomancer's side, as you'd kind of expect with the Plague Wards helping him out there, but Mushi's at least held his own in this 1v1 matchup, which...
Does a ward CS count towards...
Yes.
So actually, I think...
Oh, you mean
Fata's
towards
ahead, right?
Mushi, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
So I think Fata's ahead, right? Because
I don't think Mushi's actually killed that many Venomancer wards, though.
at least, like, 3 or 4, right? So his CS score is somewhat inflated. And I think Fata's farming better.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the net worth, 200 gold advantage, roughly.
Yeah.
So
Bone 7 continue up to his trickery, but looks like he's going to release all of these creeps. I mean, having this kind of rubber band creep equilibrium on the bottom lane really favors him. Allows him to walk away and check the runes, for example, when it's pushing, and allow him to get a ton of experience under the tower. But Yang already up to a very quick Hanamitis.
yeah, he's got Midas, he's got level 6. This is just doesn't feel like a lane that Bone 7 can easily stay in. The AA's constantly kind of lurking around in the trees, and even though you're an AA, just an Ice Vortex slow into a pounce is probably going to be enough to kill off Bone 7 now that Slark's so high level.
Yeah. I say the Slark could even maybe solo kill. At least
Yeah.
drive him low and then go for the kill next time. But
This is where Bone 7's actually in a really rough spot. Not often in this tournament we've seen offlaners this under-leveled at like 7 minutes in the game. Normally you'd be looking at a clockworking level 6 around 8-9 minutes.
this is a spot he's always thrown in, though. Like, it's like, all right, Bone 7, it's 1v3, good luck. Because we're not ganking for you.
Yep.
You're
Well,
on your own.
Then now, well, not so much ganking for him, but ganking with him. Both
Yeah.
supports team up with Bone 7.
The thing is, what do you expect a level 3 clock to do, though?
They'd love to kill this Axe who's jungling, but it looks like they may just make a move on mid lane. Mushi going to be the target of choice here. They're going to drop
he's
down the
dead.
Sentry Ward. Mushi going to get Galed as well as Inflame. 2-hero Impel, 2-hero Gale. Perfect execution. They'll get both heroes with that nice rotation, and Bone 7 gets about half a level off of it. It's shared XP between 4 heroes, though, so it actually wasn't
He'll
the
take the
biggest
level.
win for...
He'll take the gold.
Yeah, I mean, he could be getting more XP at bottom lane, though. I feel like Bone 7 actually kind of regretting not being at bottom lane, as much as that was kind of nice for him.
Yeah, well, maybe if he wasn't there, they wouldn't get the 2 kill. Although,
Yeah.
I think they would have gotten it regardless.
I mean, 2-hero Gale, 2-hero Impale was pretty nice.
Top lane here. Envy should be absolutely fine. He's moving so fast, although a little bit blocked by his own ward. Misery's coming in here looking for the Impale. Will clip on Ohio. Probably don't want to dive that.
Hard time to fight for eHome, though. Envy's got the healing ward up, something you can't easily bring down. Meanwhile,
Oh,
mid
is it gonna...
Fata?
They're so slow. And the Plague Works actually might kill DDC. The Gale's hitting on them. Look at, there's an army of wards. Can he drop one more? DDC.
He drops one more? He does? Okay.
It's
The
getting
bottle
bottom.
charge from
Yeah.
Mushi.
Very nicely done. Fata is going to get gone on here. And here comes a hasted... Wow. It's a gang squad coming left, right, center.
Where'd the Slark come from? Just suddenly
Hatred.
shows up in the mid lane.
Is Bone dead? All right, there's an obstacle course, kind of.
Doesn't look like it.
He's
T1
hasted.
tower, like T1 tower, and you've got a nuke cogs. That's not happening.
Okay.
But he's also still level 4. You know, he was level 3.5, and then like the last 2 minutes, even with that double kill at mid lane, he's only gained half a level of experience. And as you said, it's the position that Cloud9 often throw him in, and it's a struggle for him. He needs his team to create space. They're doing their best. They're taking down a tier 1 top tower, but still, a Slark alone offers such a high kill threat.
So, mid lane here, a little bit of fighting going on as it looks like Fat's going to go for the kill. No Gale though, so that's going to be it. What do you feel about Envy's item choice? Because he loves to go Hand of Midas, and I'm somewhat surprised that he hasn't gone for it.
On the Jug?
Yeah.
I don't think he's gone Midas at all on Jug.
It's definitely not a common item to go for. And the reason being so is that Mask of Madness is like a mini Midas in a sense, right? You just pop it every time. In fact, it's going to be a TP in from the Juggernaut. Where's the Omni Slash? Free kill from Envy. Yeah, it's a Midas that lets you farm, lets you fight. The only downside is you don't get quick levels that a Hand of Midas would normally give you.
Yeah, the level 11 sometimes seems to come a bit slower than you'd like on the Jug, but
right.
I feel like the Mask of Madness is just the ideal item. Like, mobility it gives you, you farm just as fast as a Midas, and more importantly, your fight.
Yeah.
Like, you can actually get kills a lot more aggressively early on.
The reason I even suggested Midas in the first place is that this team, I mean, they're deceptively strong in the mid to late game, but honestly, when it comes to right-clicking, it's just Envy, right, against the world. So he needs as much gold level and experience as he could get.
Take that as tribute.
Well, we'll see what the next move's going to be. Tier 1 mid tower has now been claimed with help of all those Plague Wards in the middle lane, and that's going to at least... Oh, DDC is going to take over this mid lane, try to get his level 6 now.
Yep.
As Slark Yang, he's picked up 800 goals. Feeling like do you feel like this is a Blink game, a Shadowblade game, or it's just going to be like a whichever he feels like?
I feel like Shadow... Well, actually... Okay, Blink, it's going to be tough against things like the Poison, as well as the wards.
Zeus Ultimate even.
Shadowblade is, you know, Zeus. I'm not sure what's the good item.
I feel like the Zeus with the 1200 range static field is also ridiculously good against Blink.
So I don't know. We'll see what Yang thinks. It feels like both items is just, oh, Gale's going to hit here. Mushi tanking the Ancients. Not going to die, but constantly being forced back. Fata's had that one death, but we got to keep in mind it was a 4-man gank mid against him, so...
Well, same for Mushi, though.
Fair, fair. But even the Slark rotated.
Yeah.
That's the difference, I guess.
It feels like Mushi and Fata right now in a very similar position. They're matching each other almost exactly on farm as well as the single death.
Finger. Oh, one more hit and the Zeus ult. 2 supports getting a kill on the core essentially, and Bone was there for the experience. That's level 6.
Yeah, that gets him his level 6. That's huge. He's now actually got hookshot. He can get a lot more involved early on. He can now finally start to come online.
Yep. I definitely like the way that Envy is playing this Jug. Every time the ultimate's off cooldown, he's hunting for kills. Because I feel that Juggernaut is a very snowball kind of carry. You get a couple of early kills, you get that quick 11, and suddenly the game just feels that much easier. Especially against these kind of very squishy supports like Venge, as well as the AA.
So Mushi's done something abnormal. He's gone Blink immediately. First item Blink. No brown boots, no phase boots even.
Wow. I don't know about that at all. We talked about why Blink is just not a optimal item.
Yeah. In theory, Blink's good when you're against these kind of squishy heroes. Like, you can blink a Zeus and try and insta-pop him, but you have no phase boots. Not to mention, Lion can insta-hex you, so...
Yeah. Oh, there's a god.
There's a Blink, by the way.
Man. I guess you drop a ult before you die? No. You're just dead.
Yeah.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Level 1 ulti cooldown probably not worth using at this point.
Yeah, it doesn't do too much. The thing about a Venomancer that's dying, it's not like having a Shadow Fiend mid and dies, or a Tro mid. He really can die a couple of times and still get a little bit farm. But Big Daddy, well, he probably doesn't want to die. Multiple TPing in. He tried to get off his ultimate. Oh, but what a nice call from Ohio. He trying to get off his ultimate. Does he want to use it on the Axe?
Oh.
Yeah, and that's going to be it. That's a big win here, because not only did you get a kill under a tier 1 tower, you drew like 4 teleport scrolls from Cloud9.
The entire Cloud9 team commit to that mid lane, essentially. They now TP Fata top on respawn, but I don't know if he really wants to be top lane. It feels like mid lane is where he kind of wants to be setting up camp in general.
Yeah, Cloud9's definitely itching for the fight. They could have just taken the tier 1 bottom for free, I want to say, if they didn't TP in.
So Slark is going to be going for the Shadowblade. I feel this is a slightly better option here. You can just snowball a lot more out of this. The damage output it gives you. You can play that kind of Illidan-style Slark where you just rotate around the enemy jungle, try and catch up the Zeus. Zeus has spent a lot of time solo farming lanes. They're trying to transition Big Daddy No-Tail into a core hero, it seems, and he's easy prey for a Slark.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit better also because you're scouting for your team to set up those Ice Blasts.
Yep.
Although I think that's going to be a lot up to Mushi as well. Look towards him placing traps just everywhere, especially in the enemy jungle. You could kind of find random supports, Ice Blast, and just a couple of Slug right clicks will net you a very easy kill.
I mean, when he immediately picked up the Shadow Blade, there's guaranteed kill on Zeus as well as Lion, it feels like. And even Venomancer, 900 HP, I don't think that's going to be enough to survive versus this
I'm not sure if Clock survives here. Zeus ult kind of being used to check Ohio's going to get Galed. And I'm not sure if this kind of slow games favor Cloud9. I think when you pick this kind of lineup, you're expecting your Clock to get a ton of ganks off. You're expecting Envy to run around and ult people. But they're not really doing any of that, besides from the nice TP from Envy to the bottom lane.
It's the Cloud9 special, but it's going to get scouted out. They go in for Roshan. They see the trap, though, with this Sentry Ward. Oh, they wanted to sneak a Roshan, but eHome... One of the kind of hidden benefits of this TA pick that Mushi loves is that they can scout out those Cloud9 Roshans.
Yeah.
Nice blast up bottom lane, not going to hit Bone 7, but Yang is here waiting. Gets the Shadow Blade damage. Dark Pact to follow. Bone 7 is going to use the Blade Mail. Ooh, going to be close. Yang may go down in return, though. He's trapped in the cog. Going to Dark Pact off the poison and counter kill. That's worth it for Cloud9.
That's as good of it as you could ask for.
That's the first Shadow Blade gank too. That's the one which catches you a bit by surprise.
Yeah. The early Blade Mail, the fact that he's got level 6 and participate in these fights for Bone 7, it was a really tough lane. And honestly, he played it probably as well as you could expect. Obviously, gave away a First Blood and could always do better, but having a 15-minute clock with a Blade Mail, it's pretty impressive in a very tough offlane.
Yeah. I mean, that Blade Mail ends up being really nice against the Slark there.
Fata gets a blink.
Okay. Ice Blast bottom lane is coming in with the Blink Axe Call. This is going to hit Fata. Oh no, it's going to fall short. Doesn't matter. They get the kill with Inflame as well as Ohio.
Feels like he survives that with a point booster or a mech.
Yeah.
But that's unfortunate.
I mean, I imagine he goes into the Aghanims next. I feel like if you wanted your mech timing is kind of over. You don't want to be getting like a 25-ish minute mech.
Zeus Ohio so low. I mean, the idea behind the blink of Veno is you blink into the middle of the fight and drop your ult, but honestly, do you think he even needs to blink in? It's generally the axe that initiates. You'll get off a good ult. What is the blink really for?
I think it's 9v1 eventually, but it's like your ulti right now, you haven't got your Ag Scepter, you're not tanky, we're seeing how easily picked off he can be just there.
So isn't the idea is to get a mech or a point booster?
Yeah, I think the point booster, I'm with you, but...
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe it's an item which will end up saving his life or getting a kill sometime in the next few minutes, but so far, as soon as he picks it up, he gets picked off.
Yeah, mid lane here, solo kill from Ohio. Yang was nearby, but he wasn't even necessary, so... This is kind of what we expect from eHome. The early Blink, the early Shadow Blade, starting to do a lot of work, and if you're comparing the global supports, it's the Ancient Apparition that's pulling in a little bit more weight. That's kind of having a downside of Juggernaut. He can't really do the same thing unless he goes for a Shadow Blade himself, although I don't think that's going to be the case here for Envy.
What do you feel like Envy wants to go for this game? He's got the Yasha, is he going for the Manta style, something... Sanjin Yasha, which like Havos likes to go for. What kind of item do you feel like this is going to be for Envy?
I mean, I know Envy really likes the Manta style just because it's another item that could farm a lot, and he's a very farm-intensive player, so I'm going to lean towards that. After that, you might actually want a BKB, but it feels like he needs so much. There's the magical immunity he needs. There's the physical immunity he needs. I don't know, maybe just a straight butterfly?
Yep. I mean, then there's the items like your Basher, your Abyssal Blade type build.
Sure.
So the Skadi Jugs we're seeing. Hookshot going to catch up Mushi here. And they've got nothing around to help protect Mushi.
With him dead, can you take Roche?
I think that's the play. Yeah. They see Hero's top. eHome now either have to TP to this bottom tier 1 immediately. I mean, this Roshan drops too fast. There's no... Actually, not a huge amount of minus armor, but they're going to take the tier 1 tower top and...
Ice Blast is coming in, though.
Actually, they see... Okay. They dodge the Ice Blast with the help of the Sentry Ward, which does see the icon on the minimap, but...
They really just don't have damage.
eHome have time to get here, or at least they did have time to get here, but it looks like they're just going to go for the trade elsewhere on the map.
Yeah, they already pulled down T1 top, and you can see that Ohio is working on that T2 top right now. So it feels like eHome's going to say, you can have the Aegis, but we're going to do as much structure damage as we can.
Roshan has fallen
Now it's up to C9. They've got this Aegis in hand. They need to get something done with it feels,
Right.
or at least take some objectives, start winning the economy battle. They can't just let eHome keep playing at this tempo now that the Aegis is in their hands.
Now, one big thing to mention is that Envy got the solo kill and experience in the Roshan pit, so he's nearing level 16 very rapidly. I would actually imagine he's the highest level hero in the game right now. Yeah. And that's considering that he's not really getting solo kills. It's the Roshan and the farm, honestly.
Well, here we go, Slack gonna find multiple heroes here in the Dire jungle. Uh-oh, Lightning Bolt very close to them. D-Wards as well as scouts out the Slack, who was trying to Shadow Blade in.
Yeah, so there's the Manta, no surprise. Yeah, we'll see what Envy goes for next. Again, it just feels like he needs everything. Well, this is a great smoke from eHome. Because the creep wave's pushed to the T2, they know somebody's going to farm it. It's a juicy bait. And eHome is thinking to capitalize on this.
And this is just two heroes. They're going to show Slack at top maybe. Yep, they show the Slack. TA's at mid. Someone likely to go farm, and it's Bone 7.
The dangerous thing is, if Bone 7 could activate its Blade Mail with Zeus's damage, it could be... You could actually
need that
lose.
blink call instantly before the Blade Mail comes out.
Yeah.
Ohio, he's being patient, waiting for the Ice Blast to get in range, and there we go. No Blade Mail.
Easy kill.
Yeah.
Teleport is coming in, and Calling Blade allows them to get away. Here comes a blink from Misery, though. He's looking for Inflame. Looks like the movement speed has ran out. They will get Inflame for... Oh. Hold it. Hold your thought.
He's got no TP. He'll do as much damage as he
Alright,
can, but
comes Envy.
Envy comes in and we'll pick up the kill.
Okay. But again, that's a good trade.
Yeah. I mean, look how many... Cloud9, again, they have to rotate 3-4 heroes down bottom lane. It creates space elsewhere in the map. Mushi was farming Ancients. Now he's farming and pushing out the mid lane.
She's got 4.2k. What is he getting? And why has he not bought it yet?
I don't think he's decided.
Consider, like,
There we go.
standard
Full
Mushi
Deso.
syndrome. There, okay.
He was just not committed. He's like, do I need a BKB? Do I need the Deso? Do I get a Yasha? I feel like this TA build in general has been suboptimal.
Fata is gonna get bursted down. He really needs a survivability himself. Mushi taking so much damage. Meanwhile, Big Daddy Note in a lot of trouble as well. Yang on the run. 2-for-1 trade. I just felt like Fata needed to tank up. The blink is... I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, Misery. On the back line here, draining all of the mana. Yang is completely stuck. Finger's gonna be a blink block. Misery. The place.
And Envy now, off of that, he's level 16. You talked about the giving the solo XP as well as the money for Roshan. He's suddenly level 16.
Yep.
Just 21, 22 minutes into the game.
Misery just everywhere he needs to be, although maybe not here exactly.
This is not where he wants to be. Here comes Zerax, has a Culling Blade, and Misery. Out of mana.
Was he? I'm not sure what he was expecting. Maybe Zeus ult? But his Hex was still on cooldown for the bottom fight.
He just wants to drain some mana, maybe. It's like, I'll drain your mana and then I'll go for the kill.
But I got Ice Blasted in the face. So, what do you feel about Aghanims on Envy? Is that just not hard carry enough?
I think that doesn't cut it. I think it's going to be like a Abyssal Blade Skadi or Abyssal Blade Butterfly type game.
Okay.
I feel like Abyssal Blade is core of this game.
Yeah, it
Probably
definitely is.
probably his next item, if not his next item, the item after. It's just a matter of what you then look to synergize it with. Either the Skadi or the Butterfly are the two which kind of stand out to me. Skadi maybe not as useful. I mean, somewhat good against the TA, less so maybe versus the Slark. I feel like Evasion in general is just going to be fantastic against the TA Slark.
Sure. And considering the fact that Mushi's gone for the Deso, he might want to have his next item a little bit more defensive, like a BKB. Especially against that Veno line combo, right? So you know the MKB is not coming anytime soon.
Yeah.
So if you rush for the early Butterfly, it's going to be very effective. Scotty's going to give him the extra health that he needs. We'll see, though.
And speaking of Mushi, his item build has just been completely unorthodox all over the place. Where's like the casual Yasha? Yasha is just one of the best items you can get on a TA. The straight blink with brown boots, he goes blink and then he goes back for the phase.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like this is... I mean, definitely the item build hasn't worked out. He's been able to farm pretty well, but he could have farmed better with a phase Yasha. He hasn't actually been able to keep himself alive. He's 1-3-1, so this has not been a good Mushi TA game.
No, it definitely has not. And I think a lot of it came from the lane. You don't expect...
Oh, smoke underneath the C9 ward.
They have a trap there. I mean, this is where...
Well, C9 saw the smoke.
Oh. But there... Is this a bait?
Yes.
Oh yeah, it is. Axe Call gets nothing. Zuso comes in. It's going to be clock counter initiating. They lose one right from the get-go here. And how much more are they going to get? Blink Lions coming in hot, and so is Envy.
No Omni. They had to use the Omni Slash and Hook for that first kill. They will get a second on Inflame, and the slow into DDC from the Plague Ward. They may find even a third.
Yep, he's dead.
That is just an odd place to smoke.
Is under attack.
Yeah, normally when you drop a smoke, you always drop a sentry first, just to prevent things like that.
And Slark, they actually pinged out afterwards, and Slark was in the jungle, so Slark
yeah.
probably found out exactly where it was.
Hello.
Dire's bottom tower
Doesn't want anything to do with Envy. So Envy has picked up 2 ulti-ults. He is going to build into a Skadi.
Okay.
A good fighting item where he can tank up a lot and also be able to just... I mean, it allows him to fight more by tanking up and also having the additional slow.
Yeah, this is where you could turn out your Mask of Madness much more liberally, because if you're using it right now to farm, you don't know if Axe calls into Ice Blast. You're just straight up dead. Kind of what we saw against Havos a lot from the last game. Envy has been farming, but not getting caught. That's a big difference. Notice that he's also taking the more dangerous farm in the opponent jungle, which frees up Fata's farm, frees up Clockwork's farm, and the rest of his team. It looks like Veno's going to go for the Aghanims, I imagine.
4K, yeah.
But where's the... Okay, the point booster is going to get purchased now, yeah.
Yeah. So he's got it in 170 gold. And Mushi is working a BKB. He'll have that 10-second BKB fairly soon, but... Poison Nova does go through the BKB, not the damage, but at least applies, and then we'll start dealing damage when the BKB wears off.
Radiant's
Right now, I mean, for me, I feel like Yang has not
Dire's middle
done
tower
enough on this
is
Slark. He's got the Shadowblade Skadi.
Right.
He's hasn't really found pickoffs with these items, and I don't feel like he's going to match up too well late game against this C9 draft.
Well,
Clockwork with good just crowd control, Lion same boat, and then the damage output from the Jug and the Venomancer is going to be very potent as well.
I think having the Midas helps. It allows you to kind of keep up without, you know, having near as a good farm as Envy. But I agree. I think the Axe has found a great amount of kills. Like, Axe has been everywhere. 6-1 and 0 is his score. But you buy the Shadowblade on Slark to kind of go into the enemy jungle. Why do you think is the reason that he hasn't found these kills?
I think it's a lot of it, less so his play and more the way C9 have responded. I mean, the one time where he looked like he was going to make a move in the enemy jungle, C9, when they're farming the jungle, had 3 heroes. They had Lion, Zeus, as well as the Venomancer farming one camp together. So,
Okay.
C9 have adjusted their playstyle because of the Shadowblade Slark.
So you can make the argument that the Slark is doing something, but just not through kills, right? He is kind of slow down Cloud9's farm, because they're farming as 3.
It's kind of like economic damage in some sense.
Yeah. And the other play that he made on the bottom was when he first used the Shadowblade and got return killed against Bone7's Blaymail.
Yeah. I mean, Slark a pretty snowbally hero. That one death, especially as soon as you pick up your Shadowblade, really slows him down.
Ohio. Alright, just scaring Envy a little bit here. What's next? Okay,
Oh, the
Zeus
Zeus
ult,
ult.
DDC's dead. A lot of overkill. I don't think Lion wants to use that finger, but hey, they're gonna get Ice Blast as a result. Inflame also gonna get caught out. Not sure if... You know, I'm very surprised that Cloud9 could find these picks. It seems completely effortlessly. Against a Slark, against an Axe, they're just not afraid. And they're walking through things like wards and TA traps.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Well, he ain't going to go for a tier 1 tower at the mid lane now. Will be glyphed up and he'll be forced back, and I don't think he's going to be going back in for the last hit on this one, as it will be denied by C9, so...
Dire's
Quick
middle
response.
tower has been
Probably Roshan time for C9. They've
Oh, he's
got a
going
couple
back
heroes
in.
on the side, and with a DD rune, he kills fast, and Misery Doesn't have an answer to the Dark Pact.
Misery threw everything out. Gale will hit on
You're gonna
Yang.
TP.
He will have Dark Pack and Pounce very soon, but looks like gonna throw everything on him. Meanwhile, Fata taking a ton of damage here from Mushi from the backline. No mech just yet. Mushi is gonna get the kill. Bone 7 closing on Mushi, and I think Mushi is gonna be dead. I don't think his BKB's ready. Clockwork Hook is gonna seal the deal. Ohio trying to get the Big Daddy kill. He will, but it's cleanup duty from Envy. Oh, blink upwards. I think they have vision here.
Full staff, he can get full staff chop the clock.
Oh, he's looking for it. Envy's now
he
stuck in the
misses.
trees. Oh, he could ult to the low ground, right? Ult?
Yang's back. Yang's healed up. The ultimate HP regen gets him out of there, and Ohio going to TP out. Great play from eHome. 4-for-1 trade in the end. They overcommitted to try and kill the Slack. The Venomancer with the Zeus, he got down to about 200 HP, but he gets into Fog, and your Shadow Dance HP regen,
Yep.
it out-healed the Venomancer ulti damage. Even with an Ag Scepter, even with a level 3 ultimate, Shadow Dance, good spell.
Okay, just to put things in perspective, a Heart of Trask gives you 2.5% health regen. A Slark ultimate gives you 7%. I'm no mathematician, but that's a lot.
A surprisingly amazing hero against Venomancer for that very reason. All you're going to do is find some Fog, and that's also where the Shadow Blade can help you out. Because if they don't have detection, you can pop this and you can start healing off during that Venomancer ultimate. So
I guess the argument is that's where Zeus comes in, right? You keep him in vision, and
Zeus is a support, and that ulti only lasts for so long though. So
sure.
I think that fight there did showcase a lot of the Slack's potency in the late game, despite the fact that it does seem like C9 have a lot of good crowd control.
Envy, free solo kill on Roche again, and TA this time he's gonna eat an ultimate. There's no helping that. Zeus, wow, really? They're throwing everything on. Yang's coming in, but he's getting blown up. Look at Envy's damage. Gale's gonna hit on Ohio. He's gonna try to TP out, but the bash from or is that a battery assault? That was a battery assault from Bone 7.
It just feels like they've taken Aegis. What's the kind of thought process when you're trying to go in after Aegis has already been claimed? Fighting kind of blind there. That just doesn't feel like a good move for eHome.
And that was after Zeus ulted to scout you, so perfect vision from Cloud9 side. Yeah, that was just a kind of a bad play, and honestly, that might cost eHome quite a bit. Because I think before this, you could have made the argument with that 4-for-1 trade in the mid lane that eHome has kind of clawed their way back in this game.
Yeah.
But now with the Roche, with the couple kills, the 3 core kills, Cloud9's ahead again.
Yeah, the actual net worth difference between the two teams has been almost dead even the entire game.
Yeah.
It has never even reached a 2,000 net worth lead for either team 31 minutes in the game. That is impressive.
Oh, I think we're going to see Cloud9 to kind of build on their lead a little bit more. Clockwork Hook already on cooldown.
All 3 carries dead. That is not a sight you want to see at this stage of the game if you're eHome, especially when you've just given away an Aegis. And C9 probably going to, for the first time in this game, surpass that 2k net worth mark and look to do a bit more here. They've got the tier 2 at bottom. They're going to probably look to farm out their jungle, push up the lanes, maybe take another tier 2 tower, one of these other side lanes as well.
Yeah, historically though, this is where Cloud9 starts to have trouble. They really have a big problem kind of tightening up the noose, right? They get themselves ahead, 10k gold, 20k gold even, and suddenly people just drop like flies. Top lane, this could be where the first one happened, but setting up a big counter
Blinks
gank.
into them!
Okay, Zeus, he's gonna ult immediately before getting called. Ice Blast is spent, but here comes a recovery squad. Ohio's gonna get blown up. Mushi has the BKB, so he could last a little bit longer, but he kind of has to run, because once that BKB ends, the poison is gonna come in. Actually, the poison never hit him in the first play. Here comes Envy.
Oh, the refraction
run,
blink.
Envy. Run Mushi.
He's got a haste rune! Oh no! Okay.
Can't haste that.
Alright. He didn't want Omni Slash, but got forced into it. Meanwhile, back from the backlines comes Yang. Yang's got a big BKB now.
But
He wants both 7.
Juggernaut.
This doesn't end well for Yang. He may get 1 kill, but can he get out of this one? Pounces. Oh, he gets caught!
No,
The low ground pounce block.
I'm not sure how much that was intended, but I'm going to say it was.
I mean, if he gets the low ground, I don't know if he even survives, but either way, that was impressive.
Envy's not done, by the way. He's got haste. He's got mask. Oh, the Manta dodge. Inflamed dead.
Envy is just putting his team on his back at this point. This has been an impressive jug performance coming out from the
It's not
Cloud9
just
captain.
Envy, though. It's... Honestly, I want to say it's definitely been Misery. Both 7's done a very good job as well.
Well, Envy wanting to use this Aegis and just take the fight while eHome have heroes on the sidelines.
Healing Ward doing a lot, and the blink. I mean,
Gets out of the Poison Nova. Great force up, but it's not going to be enough. Ahayo's dead anyways. Envy just chasing into the base here. He's going to chase Ancient Apparition.
okay,
even
all right,
further.
all right.
Radiant's top tower
That Plague
is
Ward
under
block.
attack.
Vata's like, I'll throw you a bone.
Radiant structures
I've
are
seen
fortified.
Envy kind of go very deep. I mean,
All of a sudden, massive lead for Cloud9 and possibly top Rex.
looks like it. Oh, hold on. Envy. Or Fata's going to take a ton of damage. Looks like with
Eesh.
losing Fata, they'll call it a day. But buyback coming in from Ohio. Ice Blast going to hit onto. This could be big here. They lose one immediately. Swap back with Zeus ult's going to come in. Envy's got Aegis, so he's not afraid of anything. Inflame dropping low.
He's also got Omni Slash in 5 seconds. He can actually turn and fight this one.
Slark's back too, though.
Envy's gonna, I mean, he's got Abyssal, Manta, and
1-7.
Ulti. This is the fight for Envy. He wants Rax. No buyback
in.
available for Rax. This is looking really bad for eHome.
Clockwork Coke's gonna come in and look at the Abyssal Blade. Yang is dead. Yep, that's gonna be Rax. Mushi? Actually, I'm not sure how he blinked back out. But,
Backdoor protection? Here comes the creeps.
alright, okay. A little bit late to the party.
Barracks are under attack.
Mushi can't do this on his own. He's
No.
not fighting into the Omni Slash, that's for sure. They have the Zeus with a gem, and there's nothing Mushi can do until Axe is back. I feel like they need Axe and Slack. This is going to be multiple lanes. They're going bottom as well. Get the T3 tower, get the melee Rax. Even if you don't get the range, it's still going to be a big victory if C9 can do that. Oh, Mushi going to get Omni Slash now. Does not have a meld. He gets brought down. He has got a buyback, so this will be the price to pay to maybe protect your bottom lane, but C9 aren't done. Clockwork gets himself another kill. This is looking like it may just be GG.
Barracks are
You know,
under
this really reminded me the first game of the night, which
Radiant's bottom barracks.
it felt like it was an eternity ago. Remember when it was Vichy that just lost a hero and then they lost a lane of Rax?
Yeah.
Like, how quickly Cloud9 could have snowballed with this game, and
Middle tower
you don't want to mess heroes with, like, Juggernaut.
I don't think we're going to be seeing a Vici Gaming comeback, though.
No. Yeah,
This game does not have that kind of a feeling to it.
no, definitely.
Mushi's EA has been very quiet. Slack just, I mean, doesn't have creep clear capabilities. This is a hero killer. They've got
No.
no good counter push to deal with lanes of super creeps.
AA could get a Maelstrom.
He could. He could play that Witch Doctor, that Fenrir type role.
Yeah, there you go. Ice Blast is not a bad late game ability, but I think this is where you look at your cores and they just don't match up.
This is looking like the end of eHome's run in the Dota 2 Asia Championships. Not out just yet, but
They're
a
not
full
calling
lane
GG.
at bottom and a top melee
Oh,
Rax.
There's a double damager and just waiting for somebody to grab it.
Fata going to bottle it up himself. I guess
Right.
Jug, I mean, Jug had a slot if he wanted to try and bottle it himself, but he's also got a big pile of gold. Butterfly now en route for Envy if he
Mask
wants
of
to.
Madness. This is kind of like the desperate. This is like a. I want to get a rapier, but I don't have gold. So it's like the poor man's damage item, which is more attack speed. Actually, for Slark, that's really good, right? Because you
Yeah.
build more and more.
I mean, the only other thing I could maybe see being considered is just the Basher, but... Oh, the
Zeus
Zeus ultimate.
check.
Slack has the... Oh, okay, he's got the Dark Pact. He may be forced to Shadow Dance. He gets hexed up, though. He's... No! Envy gets stuck, though. He needs a force up. Maybe look to Manta out of this one, but the Ice Blast comes through. eHome have lost 2 already. The Poison Nova going to catch out the Inflame Vengeful Spirit now, and Mushi, he's fighting for dear life. He's fighting to keep eHome in this tournament. He's going to get a double kill onto
That's
the
it.
Zeus, and, well, one more slice, and that's the end for eHome, it looks like. AA may TP back to the fountain and survive, but...
Envy did his like best anime Dragon Ball Z impression. He was just following the Slark. The Slark was trying to.
What's he
bounce
doing
away.
now? This is some anime impression.
This
okay.
is some like I don't even know what's going on.
Envy,
it's
please.
The senpai of the future. This is what's going on.
He even matches. He's just subterranean here.
Yep. Well, Cloud9 will survive for another best of 3. And they will have to face against HGT, which honestly looked pretty impressive.
I gotta say, that is gonna be not a series that would go as straightforward as you would have expected coming into like the playoffs. You think HGT, they only got 6 wins in the group stage. Cloud9, well, they had shaky moments in the middle. They started strong, they ended strong, they started in the top 8. That's a team you would have said, oh, they're easy 2-0 HGT. But after we saw HGT today, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this game that Cloud9 just won, you should say that they should win games like this every single game because they have the players of that caliber, but they just can't string it together. And against AGT, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, as for eHome, they've got to be one of the biggest disappointments of this tournament. They were hyped up coming in. They just won D2L LAN finals. Talked about as being one of the kind of stronger Chinese teams at this event, but they have just not lived up to the hype. I feel even this game, the draft was fine. The play on some of the individual players, as well as just the team decision-making wasn't there. They just seem to lack an identity. They have a different drafter every game. There just seems to be
I mean,
issues within
Hellraiser had a
this team.
drafter every game, right? Or they were
Yeah.
swapping drafter. I think when you're switching drafters in the middle of a tournament, that's where something really goes wrong. So
Yeah.
back to the drawing tables.
All right, well, we're going to go back to the analyst panel to break down our last game of the day and then say goodnight. I'm Gods, he's Luminous, and we're going back to Mr. Bruno at the desk.
If there's a moment where Cloud9 needed a spectacular performance, that was this game. It was the last best of one that they had to play. From now on, everything is best of threes. They relied on not having mistakes in a game. Eternal Envy was amazing, finished 13-0-6, dominated. Your friend Mushi, unfortunately, couldn't make it.
Yeah, he had this very peculiar item build. 2 branch brown boots, bottle and blink. I don't even know if the blink actually did anything for him, and Gods was like saying if he wanted to farm, he could have gotten a face boots, and Yasha he went back for the face boots after the blink,
Yeah.
which was strange. Like, and if you don't know what you want to buy, you're not sure what would work, you get a Midas.
Right.
So you have time to think about it.
Yeah.
And he saved his money, and he was like a non-factor the whole game. Just, I mean, it's hard to say that, but he's on a hero like a TA, which he's supposed to do very well. But that game, I did not feel his presence at all.
Yeah, the game was very even for the longest time, and then it was until they actually
Ohio was keeping them in the game.
Yes.
He was basically doing so much work.
We were talking about his consistency. What was his final score, Ohio?
7-6-4.
7-6-1.
on
Yeah.
X.
Yeah, he really was doing it. Okay, Brian is making noises.
Oops.
Whoops. Positioning.
Not too close to me.
Positioning.
Noises.
Noises. Yeah. I am sick. I'm wicked sick. But anyways, the picks this time worked out for Cloud9. The support Zeus provided some information that they needed. As you were talking before, it was these scouting ultimates that worked really well. The Venomancer of Farah countered the Slark pretty well because the Poison Nova in itself had pretty much disabled Slark's passive region. And also, there were a couple team fights that were a little bit unfortunate from eHome. We saw the pounce where Slark tried to escape, and Notel was like, "Nope,
That was
you're
a
not
really
going."
good play.
Yeah,
If that was on purpose. It's hard to say.
But
'cause
it's no tail though. He always does all this like really flashy play. So
Yeah.
I mean, it could be lucky, it could be on purpose, but anyway, he made the kill happen. Credit to him.
Yeah, absolutely. And Cloud9 fans will be happy because they will advance to the second round of the lower bracket. The standings right now, or rather the brackets, look like this.
they look like us?
They look like us.
Amazing.
I think Brian is a little bit tired. We are all a little bit tired. It was a pretty long day.
It's been a long day. It really has.
It feels like the secret Vici Gaming game was yesterday. Partially because it was yesterday, technically. It was at 6 p.m. and now we're at 10 a.m. But we had a lot of highlights. If let's go quickly through our minds. First game, Vici Gaming Secret. Amazing game 1. Very great series. Right? Then we had EG going versus Big God.
Big God. Yeah.
Big God.
Oh, bracket!
Brackets. Yay!
We're kidding, Brian.
And that was actually another surprising game. We all favor Big God, or most of us favor Big God, but EG proved that they had great lineups and very interesting.
PPD's strategies.
Yes, very interesting.
Peter Pandem.
drafts. Peter Pandem. And then we saw the 4 lower bracket games. The first one is somewhat of an upset from Rave to Hellraisers, showing that Rave barely qualifying for that 12th spot. Maybe can pull a newbie at TI4 and just go and win everything from there. It's highly unlikely, but it is an interesting storyline.
When there's will, there's always a way.
I like that. I like that. IG versus LGD Gaming was another of the games we were all expecting. IG pretty much dominated that matchup, and LGD had
Oops.
no answer.
Pretty much everyone expected that.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
no one expected, or well, not no one, but most people didn't expect, was Navi losing to Hyperglory team.
Yes.
They were-
Yeah, that was the. I mean, I felt really disappointed in some way that I expected Navi to actually carry more of a better performance in that game. It was the one game that Horvath actually didn't play up to expectations. That was probably even the first game that he actually gave first blood
Yep.
to a team. It was. He played the whole tournament superbly, and that game when he needed his teammates to stand up, unfortunately, everyone had a subpar game and Horvath didn't play well, couldn't carry the game, and they lost.
Yeah. And Cloud9 in the last game defeated eHome. Not much to talk about that game because that's the one that just happened. So if you can go back to the brackets for 1 second, we'll talk about the games that we have tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll have 4 best of 3s. Everything in the lower bracket. So VG Gaming and EG, they get the day off. Cloud9 will play Hyperglory team in a matchup that, again, if you told me yesterday, I would say Cloud9 favorites. Right now, with HGT having defeated Navi, who knows?
Gods was right. ZSMJ, you cannot count that guy out.
Definitely
he's
not.
gonna carry his team.
Yes. Another of the interesting matches, Rave IG. Again, you can't really judge these teams very well.
Should be a straightforward win, like since IG should be able to beat Rave, but sometimes they tend to switch off, and it would be, if Rave just capitalize on one of few bad mistakes that IG pull off, anything can happen. So even if it's best of 3.
So those 2 matches are going to be the first matches of the day. Then the winner of each of these matches are going to face Team Secret and Big God. The winners of whom are going to get guaranteed 4th place. And then the final, and then the 4th day we will have 3 best of 3s, which are the winner bracket finals, VG Gaming versus EG, the loser bracket finals, which is going to be the winners of the games that are going to be played tomorrow, and the consolidation finals, which is going to be the loser of the winner final versus the winner of the losers finals. The last day is going to be reserved for the grand final, which is going to be a best of 5, no advantage. Question for Brian. Do we know if we have any either the 1v1 or anything tomorrow?
I would be very surprised if they put in the one-on-one tournament on the day with 4 best of 3s. That would
Yes.
just be really
Well, the thing is, like,
poor planning.
hopefully, I mean, if they have to put something, that would be the best thing to put, because the other things are the LGD home rematch,
Yep.
which might take a long time, and the custom game Invoker Wars thing that they're doing, which is going to take a lot of setup.
They have a lot of time on the grand final
Yeah,
stage.
on the last day, I think something has to be going on.
We start an hour early tomorrow with a solo match, with a solo championship.
Okay, so the solo championship starts before the day starts. So that's
Oh
at
my
5.
Good luck.
So at 5 p.m. SGT, so it's not pushing the rest of the schedule. It's being put before it. So that's good because you wouldn't be able to fit that in.
Right.
4 best of 3s. The next day after that has 3 best of 3s. That was one day where you could put an event, and that might be the custom game. It might be the eHome thing, and then I think whichever of those.
Brian
is
is panicking.
I don't want to talk about that.
Brian is panicking, and I am panicking with him.
Showmatch starts at 1:45 SGT. On the 4th day.
What is 1:45 SGT is what? Noon PST. So the day starts noon PST.
Yeah, on 9th of February, yeah, around then.
No, it doesn't.
There is no way.
No,
That doesn't make
it's not
sense.
right.
It could be
No, it's not right because usually we start at 6 p.m. and it's like 11
I'm just telling you.
China time.
Noon PST would be like 4 a.m. their time.
No,
or
it doesn't make sense.
that could not.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
cannot be the case.
I think it's messed up.
Okay.
I think what they did is some of the times are in SGT and some of the times are in like CEST. And
Okay, so they're changing the time zones a
Changing
couple
the
of times.
time
and it's
zones.
hard
Time
to
zones are hard.
Okay, so what would be logical? What I'm going to assume is the case, because that makes a lot of sense, is tomorrow they do the one-on-one
Yes.
before the matches.
Mhm.
The day after they do either the Invoker / Shadow Fiend Wars. They do that the day after, and then the grand final day, they do the eHome
Yeah, I think
thing as the warm-up.
it would
that would be
make sense
perfect
that
as a
have
warm-up for a
they have
grand final.
something like
That
this
has to be what they're
on the
doing.
grand final. Yeah, it makes sense that way.
Yeah. And it sounds like that is indeed the case. So
Hopefully-
one extra thing per day. I like that idea.
Yeah,
Good
that
to
makes
spread it
sense.
out.
Hopefully, if that is going to be the case, Burning doesn't have to play the finals because it's going to be. It's hard to focus into a big finals game when you have to play a show match just before. And of course, if you're playing the finals, you want to wrap up
Do you
with
even want to play the show match if you're actually involved in?
that. I
grand final?
wouldn't. I
I would be pretty surprised if that match is played right before the grand finals. There might be like that match, and then there's an hour preparation time. I don't think you go right from one game into the next.
It will still be quite an annoyance.
I still think I don't know. For me, this show match is a little bit different because it's historical, right?
Right,
It's
yeah.
historical, and I feel like these players will consider it an honor playing in that game. It's kind of a piece of Dota history. I know I might be hyping it a little bit and building it into something big, but after all, this is kind of something that these players have lived these Dota lives for many, many years,
Mhm.
and this is taking them back to 2010,
Oh yeah.
which was before Dota 2 even came out, that we
Yep.
get to see some of the prime of Dota 1 teams play against each other. So I honestly think they will be able to manage that even if they're playing at the grand finals.
What I know for sure is that they are gonna try hard.
Yes.
I mean, this is
I would
not
be
an
impressed.
all-stars match where you're just having fun and trying to look cute. This is guys reliving a very, very strong rivalry between probably the two best teams of the Dota 1 era, and everyone wants to be remembered as the best.
Yes.
So whoever wins that will have that honor. We're gonna wrap up, but before doing that, a little bit of a shout out again to the people from the Score Esports. As I said before, they are doing some articles. There's a new article by K-Poptosis, none else. I saw him finish writing
that
it
guy?
today. It's a guy. It's a guy.
Is he our producer?
He's like the trans of Beyond the Summit. The trans of Beyond the Summit.
So just to make sure that gets across, trans as in TRANCE, not as TRANS.
No. Okay.
Wow, that escalated quickly.
Yeah.
The way you just threw it out there, I was sure you were just poking fun at him and making a joke, and I had to think about it twice. So I guess some people won't even know who trans is, etc. And it just sounded like you were lashing out at him.
No.
Whatever.
He's not.
Bruno, you've made a lot of inappropriate jokes, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Hey, what inappropriate jokes? I want you to go back to the bit.
Let's not get started on inappropriate
Yes.
jokes, Bruno.
No, we don't do. Article. That's
Article.
more important.
Talk about it, article.
Yes. So this article is about how to read a scoreboard in Dota 2.
Mhm.
And it sounds like a newbie thing. This is more oriented to when you watch some sports, let's say football, like real football, not hand-eye. You say, "Oh, what's the score? Oh, it's 2-0. Okay, these guys are winning clearly, right?" If you watch, I don't know, basketball, NBA, these guys are 100 to 98. Oh, they're winning. It's really close. When you look at Dota 2 and a lot of esports, you say, "Oh, this team is like 10 kills ahead. They might be winning." But that might not necessarily be the case all the time. Kills by themselves
Good
don't
example
tell.
would be the EG game against Newbie, 113, but they were winning.
Yeah, that is true. So there's a lot of other factors that indicate, and there's no clear factor that says if you're ahead in this, you're winning. You could be behind in gold and still be dominating. You could be behind in kills. You could be behind in experience. There's always a scenario where even if you're behind in one of those things, you might still be ahead. So this article goes about this, on how to try and read this, and how to try to explain to someone that might be new to Dota 2 and wants to be introduced, okay, what's going on here? And okay, they got this team fight and they lost 4 people here, but they took Rax on the other hand with the 5th. So was that who is ahead? Who gets ahead right now? The article is published right now at the Score webpage, and I think Brian has already linked it on the chat. If he hasn't, he's going to do it soon. He's going to do it again. So feel free to check that out. Having said that, having fulfilled my commitment, I'm going to...
Hell.
Okay. I'm gonna close down the show, and hopefully we all will get some sleep, because we have to
I think
start
we need
again in 7 hours or less. So thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoy the day. Please tune in tomorrow, even though I am completely inappropriate. We're going to have a lot of fun Dota games. We're going to have your favorite teams. and we're gonna have a lot more of Dota 2 Asian Championship action.
And we're gonna fulfill our
The story of
commitments.
Jackie Mao continues tomorrow.
That is a good
Next episode of
cliffhanger.
the saga.
Yeah. To be continued tomorrow. Dun dun dun.